Lottie, Dottie, and everybody, welcome to Happily Married Monday with the Jolly. Isn't she a cutie pie? She is a cutie pie.
Good evening.
Yeah, that's my bride, the one and only Detail Jolly. And we are the Jollies.
And we're back to basics.
And we're back. Where you going before I even got you? Go right to the title already. You know.
That's the difference in the two of us. You're like, all this takes forever. I'm like, shh.
All right, well, I've got to introduce and welcome people who might be the first time they're joining us. Some people might not know that this is an ongoing program that we've been doing now. Has it been a year yet?
I don't
Every
think
Monday
so.
night?
I have to check. I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know how long it's been going on, but we've been doing it now for quite a while, and we want to welcome everybody who has been joining us, and we're excited that you've been joining us because we're excited about this program and the response. We are the Jollies. We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. We've been married for 34 years, haven't had an argument in over 30 years, and we learned some principles that changed our marriage, enhanced our marriage.
I think we haven't had an argument because I got a sense of humor and I let you talk.
That's part of it. You got a sense of humor because you had no humor when we got married. I mean, it was like,
I had to change. I had to adapt and to adjust.
she did.
I did.
Because she was a preacher's kid, no humor, and I had to help lighten her
And you
up.
were all the way off the chain, which you still are.
I
But
am.
you make some modifications.
I'm more reserved. No, not really. Not really. That's not the right word. So anyway, we'll greet everybody who's joining us. Malika, Haid, Malika, and all of those who are joining. Here's what we want everybody to do. Every time you join, hit share. A little love and a little smiles and a little stars and all the stuff goes up. Yeah, there you go.
Aww.
So that people will know we're here and they will say, "Ooh, we got to get on board. We got to jump on." Tonight we're going to talk about back to basics in a happy marriage. Back to basics. And before we do that, though, we are excited to announce it's here. Finally, after about a year of us talking about it, working on it, recording it,
Recording the audio
recording
and making
the
the
edit,
adjustments in
and
the
making
audio.
the edits and going back and listening and fixing, because we wanted to be the best that we could create, and we have created it. And it's 7 discs in this audio book, and it's now CDs,
Not DVDs.
not DVD. 7 CDs
Of the book.
of the book, the
That we've
entire
read.
book that we read by the authors of the book, Dr. Willie Jolley and D. Taylor Jolley. It's now available, jollymarriage.com, for a special price of only $20 right now. This is $20. This is going to be about a $30 package, but boy, it is good, and we're excited. All right, so you can get. We are working on a couple of other iterations, but you can get this now.
Oh, that's a fancy word.
That's a great word. So
Iteration.
Get
Okay.
the audio book, and you'll be glad you did. If you don't have the hard
So you can listen to the entire book while you're on travel,
yeah, in your car,
doing something together,
In your
driving
house?
together. Yes.
and wherever you can listen. And we're working on now. The next deal is on digital book. I know a lot of you are into digital
We're
books,
working on the downloads.
audio downloads, streaming. We're working on those now. We're having conversations, and my agent is talking to a couple of providers and distribution companies. So we're working on that. Okay, let's talk about tonight's
Back
topic.
to basics.
Back to basics. Why did we come up with this? Well, folks,
It's the beginning of the school year.
the beginning of the school
It's
year,
a variety of things.
beginning of the football season,
Yes.
and beginning of the school year, we said, this is a good time. Now, let me tell you why we said we're back to basics. If you've heard me speak, I talk about success and looking at object lessons of successful organizations. One of the object lessons I've used over the years is the Green Bay Packers under the leadership of the great coach Vince Lombardi. If you know that the Super Bowl that we now know, the trophy is called the Lombardi Trophy. So people want that Lombardi Trophy. Every year, 32 teams start out with a goal of winning the Super Bowl and being able to stand on the stage with holding that Lombardi Trophy. Now, here's an interesting thing about Vince Lombardi. He won the first Super Bowl, and the first couple, I believe. And here's what happened, though. At the next training camp, after he won the Super Bowl, these big world champion football players were coming to their first day of training camp. They had won the Super Bowl, and they were excited. And he did the same thing he did every beginning of every season. He said, "Gentlemen, this is a football." Now, why did he do that? Well, they all were football players. They were professional football players. But he went back to basics, which was the secret to winning the championship.
They were a championship team.
They were a champion, but he went back to basics after they had won the Super Bowl championship, because he said if you start at the basics, you will be able to build a foundation to win winning teams and win winning titles.
I have a quote.
You have a quote?
I have a quote.
Why don't you use it?
Vince Lombardi said, "Football is like life. It requires perseverance, self-denial, hard work, sacrifice, dedication, and respect."
Woo! That's a great quote. Read it one more time. Okay. That's a great quote. Now, you've said it. It's like life. Why don't you replace the word life? It's like marriage.
Okay.
Read it one more time.
Okay. Football is like marriage. It requires perseverance.
Yep.
Self-denial.
Yep.
Hard work.
Yep.
Sacrifice, dedication, and respect.
That's the truth, folks. All of those things are true, and that's what it takes to have great marriages. Respect for each other, sacrifice, cooperation, compromise, working together. All of those things, hard work. It's work. Marriage is work. You've got to learn how to not say everything you think and how to go the extra mile.
People say, well, all right, I'm not married, and if it's that much work, why do I want to do it?
Because
I don't want to do it if it's work.
Because it's worth the work. Anything great, any great achievement takes work. My upcoming book is called The New Theology of Achievement, and it's based on the doctoral thesis doctoral dissertation I wrote. The fact that whether you believe or not, everybody has a theology, one. And two, that theology dictates how you will live your life. And three, the greatest theologies are those that will empower you to achieve. Zig Ziglar said, we were born, we were designed, we were engineered for achievement. We are supposed to do something with our lives. And that's what the book will be about. And so the same is true for a great marriage. It takes work, but it's worth the work. Having a successful business takes work, but it's worth the work. Having a successful life takes work.
So it's a struggle. And then it's a
struggle.
sense of achievement.
Yep. And then
through the struggle.
So it takes work. So we're grateful it takes work. And that is why we go back to basics. What are the things, the basics that...
So the question became, okay, so back to basics. Mm-hmm. So why do marriages fail and what to do about it?
Because people get married. Let's go back to basics. Chapter 1 in the book. Friends first. Be or become friends first. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. We have said over and over again, and this book talks about it, that people get married for all sorts of reasons. They get married for so many reasons, it's mind-boggling. Some people get married because someone looked good. Some people get married because somebody had a fancy car. Some people get married because somebody had great sex. Some people get married because somebody had money.
So why do marriages fail? That's what we're talking
Because they're not
about.
basics. They haven't gotten to the basics. The basics are friends first. Before you marry, you got to make sure that person is someone who will be with you through the good times, the bad times, the rough times, the tough times, when you're sick. What did we were meeting with a couple the other day, and a lady, we asked her what was the secret to their 50-year marriage. She said, I kept my vows. I've kept my vows that it was for better or for worse. Wow! Sickness or health, rich or poor. She said, I've kept my vows. And that's why we've married over 50 years. She said, this one, he's a piece of work. But she said, I stayed with them. And I've stayed with them through the tough times. And she said, because
they enjoy each other. So they're in their 80s now.
Now they're in their 80s. And so we say friends first. And the people we've interviewed, Bernice and Kenneth Mitchell, God bless his soul, he went home to be with the Lord. But they were best friends. Jeffrey and Denise Hart, best friends. We found so many people who are best friends. We're best friends. We are best friends. So we talk.
What do best friends do? Best friends communicate.
Yes.
So perhaps relationships, marriages fail. Okay, you're not best friends. So if somebody says, well, tell me, what does that mean to be best friends? Okay?
Yeah.
So best friends would be people who are comfortable and who want and who communicate with each other.
Yes. I heard something the other day. It was some...
All the time. I didn't finish that.
Yes, okay, all the time. There was a couple who were having problems because the husband went off on a male guy's trip. The women go off on a women's trip. But while the husband was away, he did some naughty things. And his friends put it on social media.
Oh, wow.
And he said, what kind of friend would do that? Well, first of all, we've never been on a vacation without each other because I want to be with her. I mean, I like the guys. They can go with us if they want to go, but it's been me and her. And we are together. So I don't really want to go on a vacation
I
without
just think you have to be very careful when you start, well, I have to have my men's time away and I have to have my women's time away. And I think it comes down
Now, I'm not saying some people do that and it's okay, but I'm saying for us, we have not been in 34 years of marriage on a separate cruise. She did go one time to Florida for a visit with
Daisy.
And
then I went back the next month and took you
us,
guys.
Right. It took
I
me
went
away.
on an exploratory
She went
visit.
to check it out and said, "Oh, you got to come."
That part of
but
Florida.
You actually went for a business weekend and enjoyed it so much that you said, "I want to bring my husband and son the next weekend or next time." So we went back, and I've been on men's retreats for churches. And then, of course, I travel.
I don't think that's the same thing. That's not really what you're talking about in terms of men's retreats. No, it's not.
I'm just saying that's the only time I can think we've been apart or when I was traveling and the kids were little for business. So we travel together, we work together, and we're best friends. We talk all the time. We talk every day, all day long. In fact, our assistant, Cheryl, said to us today, y'all make me sick because Dee came to my office and she was snuggling up to me and talking to me. And she could hear us giggling in my office. We are best friends. We enjoy being together.
So communication. Why do marriages break up? Primarily because of communication. Communication affects everything. So if there's poor communication, what you call a communication gap,
you can't.
Everything else falls apart.
Everything
so
falls
what
apart.
Does that mean? To be able to talk and listen. You can't have a right without a left. So part of the challenge in relationships is I don't have time to talk. I'm too busy. School is starting. We're back in for the fall. I'm all in. How do I deal with that?
Yes.
So you have to have a plan for talking and for listening to each other.
Communication in marriage is like oil in your automobile engine. It can be messy to handle. It can be oily and slippery, but without it, your engine will run poorly and eventually will lock up and bust. The same is true for communication in marriage. You must communicate, so keep talking, even when it's uncomfortable. We talk, and even when it's uncomfortable, we talk, and I listen. We don't do the stonewalling, basic things. Here, basic, don't stonewall. Which is stonewalling? Withholding information, not talking, turning your back, or the silent treatment. Men tend to stonewall. I'm done. Whatever you want. I'm over. It's over. I ain't talking no more. Done. I'm leaving. Or the silent treatment, which we see most often happens with women, where they shut down. We've had some people who we know who shut down a month. One person they said a month. She didn't talk to her husband. Or then stamp collecting. Or stamp collecting is S&H green stamps. When I was growing up, my mom would go to the store, you pay the money, you get some stamps, you put them in a book. At the book gets full up, full to the top, you take it to the redemption center and get a toaster. Well, stamp collecting in marriage is when you have something that's bothering you, but you don't talk about it. You don't have open and honest communication. You don't say, hey, this hurt my feelings, or this bothered me. Can we do this differently? Or whatever it is, and you just let it build up, and it explodes.
So that's no communication.
No communication.
Okay, now,
All
there's
right.
an article in the Huffington Post recently that cited that of the marriages, because we know 50% of marriages break up, Christian and non-Christian.
Right.
And of the 50% that are breaking up, 65% of those say that the failure is a result of poor communication. Now, another thing they noted was that men and women talk about communication very differently.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Men focus on...
You're kind of cute, by the way.
Thank you. Men focus on
Anyway.
saying that women nag. Now, that's something I had to know. What does nagging mean? What does nagging mean for the male? So, men are saying that women nag and complain.
Yeah.
Does that mean, do I have to remind you 10 times to take out the trash?
Might
Do I have to remind you to make up the bed?
It's like a drip. The Bible says it's a drip of a faucet that creates the problem. And so we're saying to you, don't nag. We don't nag. You don't nag. Now, I think there might have been a time when...
Well, you said that's nagging. I remember that from just years ago. So whatever you say to me, okay, I take it. I am okay. Now, what do I need to do differently?
Nagging. Nagging is another form of destructive communication. To nag means to bother someone with constant complaints or by constantly finding
But
fault.
I learned the situation doesn't change.
There's
if
an
I
old-
repeatedly ask you to do something and you don't do it,
It's not changing.
it's not changing.
There's an old saying that nagging, like harping, should be left to musical instruments. One problem with nagging is that it actually shuts down communication. Dee and I were counseling a couple where the wife nagged the husband to the point that he would try to avoid talking to her. Even when the wife was pregnant and close to her due date, she called him on his cell phone and he looked at his phone, saw her name, and let it go to voicemail. When his friend chided him for not answering the call from his pregnant wife, he said she had just gone to nag me. Both the husband and the wife were at fault in this scenario. The husband should have taken the wife's call, no matter what. And the wife had done such an effective job of conditioning her husband's behavior by nagging that he created a block to their communication. That she created a block to their communication because he refused to listen to her reach out. Nothing good is achieved by nagging.
So men
Don't
say
do it.
women nag, and women say that men don't validate them in their opinions.
That's true. That could be true. Now, there's a part of it that maybe there's some give and take. So back to basics.
Okay.
Back to basics. Talk to each other without nagging and be respectful. What were the things you said? It takes hard work. It takes compromise. It takes self-sacrifice. And it takes respect.
So that's mutual
Respect.
respect. So how you talk. So now we're going to be best friends. And how are we going to be best friends? Because we're going to talk to each other about everything.
Right.
But it's how you talk, and you got to listen.
One person we talked to, the husband liked to holler. The wife did not. It created a problem. he grew up in a house where they argued and hollered to solve their problems. She grew up in a house where they were very quiet about how they worked through disagreements.
Oh, I remember.
You remember?
Different cultures too. Yes.
And so it created a major, major problem. So we're saying to you, back to basics.
But they had to. They eventually talked through.
Yeah.
So why are you leaving the room when I'm trying to have a conversation with you?
We're looking at some of these comments. Y'all are sending comments. Okay. Yeah.
Why are you leaving the room when I'm trying? If you grew up in a different culture, a different household environment.
Yep.
Because you.
And how many of y'all are like that? You grew up in an environment which is different from your significant other, your spouse, your partner. How many of you like that? And how you disagree is different. That is why we have in the book rules of engagement. How you disagree. Talk about what really bothers you. When many of you know in our book, we talk about the fact that Dee doesn't like people hollering. And we almost broke up when we were newlyweds, early marriage, and we went to get Chinese food, and we had a disagreement about how much Chinese food we could get, and I started hollering because she didn't know what she was talking about, because I'm a Chinese food aficionado.
I didn't know what I was talking about.
You didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh,
you were telling me, oh, we don't have enough Chinese food. And I said, I know every Chinese food place in D.C. I love Chinese food. I know the good place. I know the ones that give you a big portion, and I know the ones.
But see, I was focused on something completely different. I was focused on the fact that he was cheap.
Yeah.
And I thought he didn't want to get the dishes because he was just being cheap.
And I said, we need 4. She said, we got to get 8. I said, that's way too much food for this dinner party of these many people. She said, 8. And I said, no, 4 is more than enough. And I hollered. I started hollering. But she said, no, I'm telling you.
But he got what I wanted.
I eventually did. But it was bad because only way I got there was I hollered and she said, I will leave you.
That wasn't good.
And I said, dial it back, pump the brakes. All right, I'll get what you want. I got everything she wanted.
And it was too much. Okay.
Way too much. We wasted food. But that night, we talked about it.
Yes.
And I said, let's talk about it. She said, I don't like people hollering at me. My daddy didn't holler at me. My brother didn't holler. I don't like people hollering at me. It raises the hair on my...
Raises the hair on the back of my neck.
She said, I can't handle that.
And then it makes me want to be violent. So I don't want to go there.
She don't want to go to jail. Anyway.
I don't look good in stripes.
And I said, okay, you don't like people hollering. I don't like people threatening me. Threatening that you're going to leave me. I don't like when people threaten me. I don't do that well. And we made a decision that I would never holler. She would never threaten to leave. And we got our rules for engagement.
Right.
Basics. A system for disagreeing. And these are things we want to teach couples. Because so many couples start off with a little disagreement and it blows up into a big chasm that is almost impossible.
I would say because we're not honest with each other. We don't really talk about what is important.
By we, you mean people.
Yes. People.
Yeah, okay.
Couples.
Because they might
don't
think
really
it's we.
talk. Really don't talk about what is on their heart.
Right.
How what you're doing makes me feel. Or I never had those kinds of experiences because I didn't grow up in that kind of household.
Malika says, I holler. Malika, let me tell you, it don't work.
No.
Dial it back. Dial it back. Just dial it back. And don't holler.
Here's a question. How's that working for you? Do you get the result? Just say, how is that working for you?
Right.
Now, you know what? You might have relieved your stress by hollering. But then you have to ask, did it really change the situation?
Yep. Didn't change a thing.
Because I have to think about, with Willie, when we first got married, and I had my IKEA experience, I assumed that my husband was like my dad, who could fix everything, fix the roof on the house, could build a house from scratch with a hammer, some nails, and some wood, just could do everything. And we went to IKEA to get a desk for the bedroom. And I just knew he could put it together, and he could not. It was traumatizing.
I said, I don't do that.
And I had to step back and say, the assumptions
She made the
I
assumption
had,
that I was her
the
daddy.
expectations were, I was wrong. So I had to adjust. We had to have a conversation. We said, I don't nail things. I don't repair. Okay. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So and he didn't even make up the bed. So you know there was a whole bunch of adjusting.
Yeah, when we first got married,
we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Why?
Oh my God.
I'm getting back in it tonight.
Oh my God. I made up my bed as I crawled out of the bed. Everything was nice and neat. So we had a lot we had to talk about.
Malika said one of the reasons why she and her husband broke up was that she was hollered and it got distant. And you know, one of the reasons why another part of our family member and her husband divorced was because she shut down. She wouldn't talk to him for months. And he finally said, I'm out. And it just created this tension. What we're saying to you, back to basics. Respect. Communication. If you got a problem, calm yourself. Say,
and what does it take? Okay, as a teacher, what does it say? What does it take to calm yourself so that you can have a respectful conversation?
You have to have some pattern interrupts, called pattern interrupts. So when you feel yourself getting angry, you feel yourself about to lose it, then you need to break that pattern that is on its way to you saying something. Look, words are like toothpaste. Once they're out of the tube, you can't put them back in. And so you got to say, okay, breathe, count to 10. You know, these kind of things that you've heard.
Or you need to figure out what relieves your tension. For me, yoga.
Yeah, but you in the middle of
exercise.
But in the middle of a disagreement, you would go to. We didn't have yoga when we were arguing.
No. But what I'm saying is,
nowadays, sure.
Stressful situations, right?
Yes.
Stressful situations. I know I handle stressful situations better when I have worked out early in the day.
Read that quote one more time about the one you started with. That from Vince Lombardi. Put the word marriage in there.
Okay, football is like marriage. It requires
football. I want to say marriage.
Okay, the original quote says football is like life.
All right, okay.
You're saying
marriage, football and marriage I like. I like the way to say that. Go ahead.
Okay, football and marriage are like. Is that what you want to say? Oh, okay. It requires perseverance.
Perseverance. You hang in there. You keep working. You don't give up. You don't throw in the towel.
Self-denial.
Deny of self. Friends first. I put her first. If there is X amount of food, when we were early on, I said, you take it. Or she'll put me first. And she'll say, you have it. We deny ourselves, because that's what Jesus did.
We put our mates first. So it becomes like a cycle. Who loves who more?
There you go.
It's like a cycle.
Next one.
Okay? Hard work.
You got to work hard at this. You got to work hard, because not so much. Many people think that hard work is like digging a ditch. No, hard work is changing your natural tendency to want to holler, to want to scream.
Yes, to be willing to adjust. And to have patience when you have
That's the hard work.
That's the hard work, because I'm bottom line, I don't have patience.
Yes, that's right. But you've gotten patient and you've gotten funny.
And I have gotten much better as
humor.
You have to tell the whole tale, and I just want the bottom line.
And you got humor over the years.
And I'm still working on developing humor. That requires a lot of self-discipline on that part.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, sacrifice.
We sacrifice. And all the great couples we have talked to over over about a year now we've been on, have said sacrifice. I sacrifice for my family. I sacrifice for my wife. Sacrifice.
Which goes to maybe delayed gratification.
Yeah.
You can't have everything you want then. Maybe it doesn't work for the budget.
Right.
We have to prioritize what comes first. Right. Okay, dedication.
I'm dedicated to her. She's dedicated to me. I take a bullet for her. She take a bullet for me. I know somebody mess with me, she gonna jump on their back. I know that. Okay, she gonna jump on their back and hit them with some stuff. So go ahead.
And respect.
Respect. We respect each other. And when one of us has a hurt feeling, we say, my feelings are hurt. We don't say, well, why you feel like that? No. We respect the call. Just like in basketball, I talk about it in the book, that in a basketball court on the street in the urban areas or on street basketball, the guy is you guarding a guy, and he goes up and misses the shot, and he says foul, but you didn't touch him, and you know you didn't touch him, but he missed the shot and called foul. But everybody who plays street basketball knows that the rules are unstated. You don't have to stay them. You respect the call, whether you agree with it or not. You respect it. Same in marriage. She says her feelings are hurt. I don't say, well, why your feelings hurt? You shouldn't have. I respect the call. Same when I say it. All right. So, new audiobook is available right now for $20. $20. It's on sale for $20. It's a special introductory price. 7 discs. Go to jollymarriage.com and order it right now. We got a limited amount because they're going to go to digital soon, but get one. These are like collector's edition, and you're going to love it. Jollymarriage.com. Not on Amazon yet, only available at jollymarriage.com. Get it right now. Right now. So go get it. If you don't have the book, get 2 copies of the book, one for you and one for your significant other, so that each one can go through it, write notes, make decisions. And then we've got the workbook available. It's available, and that's a workbook, and you're going to love that. We're trying to save marriages. We figure that a divorce lawyer, we got one friend who's going through a divorce, cost him $150,000.
And they're not done yet.
Not done yet. $150,000.
And I think, you know what I think worse than the money, the children are so emotionally,
and they're just all of them just emotionally impacted. So rather than going for that, spending all that money, buy the products we've been developing to save marriages, enhance marriages, grow marriages. The book, get 2 copies.
And work through the materials, not just buy
the
it.
audio book, you can play it in the car. The live seminar, hilarious, off the chain. And we talk about sex in detail. Sex, money, and communication. And then the workbook. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We had a good time tonight. Hope y'all had a good time.
Taylor Jolley.
We'll see y'all next week. Jolly out.
Jolley out.